There are only three keys that you need to succeed at absolutely anything in your life. And despite what you've probably been told by your parents or most self-help gurus, discipline and hard work are none of them. And so the fact that you were taught that, I was taught that, I'm willing to bet that you've probably felt this way at some point. That if you just tried hard enough, if you just put in the work, and if you just wanted it bad enough, you put in enough effort, then it's like you have to succeed. It's like you deserve it. You feel like it has to work out. But that's really not the case. And so in this video, what we're gonna do is kick off this three-part series where I'm gonna introduce the first key to allow you to succeed at absolutely anything in your life, all right? So let's get right to the point and jump into the first key. And mind you, I don't care if we're talking about learning a new language, becoming a millionaire, having a successful marriage, losing weight, it applies to everything. The first key is this: expectations determine results, okay? Expectations determine results, not discipline, not work ethic, expectations. Okay, what does that mean? The word expect comes from the Latin word exspectare, and sorry if my Latin is rusty, but ex, the first portion of the word, ex, means out, and spectare means to look. So expectare means to look out for. So when you expect something, that's what you're looking out for. In other words, it's what you're trying to find proof of. And so if you expect to succeed, you're looking for proof of success. If you're expecting failure, you're looking for proof of failure, that you're not going to be able to accomplish your goals. And so this is why discipline and hard work alone are not enough to lead you to success. Because let me give you an example. Let's say you want to lose 30 pounds, okay? You could start actually doing all of the right things that lead to success. You could start meal prepping and going to the gym, getting your steps in, doing all the right things that would literally allow you to achieve your goal. But you're doing that on one hand. On the other hand, you're expecting, maybe in the back of your mind, or worse yet, you've said it out loud, you don't expect to succeed. You're not confident in your ability to succeed. And so while you're doing the right things, you're disciplined, you're hardworking, you're looking for proof and evidence that you're not going to succeed, that you're going to fail. And so it's like you're sitting, you're waiting, just waiting for an excuse to grab a hold of. You're just like sitting, waiting. Oh, I don't have time. Oh, that's a good old reliable. I don't have time. Oh, I got busy at work. Okay, that's my excuse. I like that one. And so you're waiting for an excuse that's good enough for you, that'll allow you to sleep at night, despite the fact that you've given up on yourself and your goal. And so that's why expectations are everything. And so to drive this point home, to summarize it in one sentence, here's what I want you to know. You will never consistently behave in a way that is greater than how you view yourself. Okay, I'll say it again. You will never consistently, maybe for a couple days, couple weeks, but never consistently behave in a way that is greater than how you view yourself. And so if you set out to accomplish a goal, again, weight loss could be the example, and you look at yourself and your ability in a low way, you have self-doubt, and you're looking at yourself in this low way, for a time you could rise above that level of self-doubt and take the right actions that lead to success. But if you don't address this underlying feeling of self-doubt and expecting to fail, well, then eventually your actions will go down to that low level, okay? So you're probably saying, okay, well, this is nice, sounds good, but how do we start to develop this expectation of success? Well, the first thing that we have to understand is, especially as believers, is that this is one of the enemy's main objectives, to get you not to believe in yourself, because he can't actually stop you from fulfilling your purpose. He doesn't have that power, that ability. But what he can do is he can deceive you and confuse you into not believing in yourself and making you believe in your own inability. See, if he can get you to doubt yourself, then he doesn't have to keep doubting you and, hey, I got to pass an exam, I'm trying to go for a promotion, I'm trying to start my business. He doesn't have to convince you at every turn. All he has to do is sow that seed of doubt in you, and you will convince yourself. You will focus on your own inabilities, and you'll focus on your own limitations. So that's the first thing to understand, is that the enemy is at play, trying to get you to focus on what you can't do and remind you of who you are not. All right, so that's the first thing. Now, the foundational piece to start going from expecting failure to expecting success is this. As a believer, you really need to understand the significance of the fact that you are a child of God and the fact that you were created in His image. This is important for two reasons. The first reason is that now you're establishing a foundation in terms of your identity that is rooted in something that doesn't change. See, we do this. I've done this before in the past where it's like your identity, your perception of yourself changes because you're basing it on your race or your political leaning or your physical attributes, your age, or your financial status. You're basing it on these things that change consistently. But when your identity is rooted in the fact that you were made in the image of God, you're His child, and He gave you the instruction, the ability, and the permission to go forward and be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion. He already gave you the instruction. Well, then you can go forward confidently into every situation. So that's the first piece, is you're setting a foundation of your identity rooted in God who never changes. The second very important piece is understanding that because of that, as a believer with God on God's green earth, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that is bigger than you. There's no problem that you're going to face that's bigger than you. There's no skill that if you need to develop it to fulfill the purpose for which you were created, you can't develop it. There's no problem too great for you because, this is good stuff, because problems pretty much are what they are. Skills that you may have to develop, the knowledge is just out there. It's sitting, it's waiting for you to acquire it. But no problem is greater than your capacity to grow bigger than it. It can't supersede your ability to grow. You can always be growing bigger than your problems. The problems will just stay there, but you have the capacity for becoming more. And so having that understanding gives us confidence in the fact that we're never going to encounter something that is greater than us. All right. And so go forward confidently, understanding that you have the ability to grow, become more, and the problems you're facing today might seem like a tremendous obstacle for who you are right now, but they're going to be insignificant for who you're becoming tomorrow. And so as we wrap up, I just want to encourage you to understand the power of expectations, to root your foundation of your identity and the fact that you're a child of God, you're made in His image, and to go forward confidently, knowing that He gave you the ability, He gave you the permission to fulfill the purpose for which you were created, all right? So this is why self-help gurus preach affirmations, and you gotta be positive and positive self-talk, which is okay, it's well and good. But oftentimes affirmations are not helpful because you're just coming up with something that you invented, you came up with it. And it's like you're looking in the mirror, you're like, I'm smart. It's like, I'm confident, right? And then in your mind, you're like, I don't really believe that. But as we wrap up, in the description, what I would encourage you to do is check out my video with 42 daily affirmations about who God says you are. It's not something that you just came up with out of thin air. It's in the Bible, and it's who God is telling you you are. And so listen to that daily, listen to it repeatedly to drown out the noise of the world that constantly wants to remind you of everything you're not and all the things you can't do, but tap into God's promises and who He has told you you are, and condition yourself to bias yourself in that direction, all right? So check out that video in the description. I hope you enjoyed this first of 3 videos in this series. Stay tuned for the next video coming out next Friday at noon Eastern, where we will go into the second key to succeed at anything in your life. Until next time, stay blessed by the best. Take care.